Hey y'all, hey, welcome to 2D Talk Sense. I know the last time I got on here, we were supposed to talk about, we was going to go over the Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton testimony because they dropped the actual full video of them, of the Senate hearing. So that's what we were supposed to do the next time I came on. But what had happened was America went to war. Now, technically, you're not supposed to say, technically, they are saying that we are not at war, but kind of feels like we are. So, yeah, that's what we're going to discuss today. First of all, let me give out my thank you. Thank you to the new subscribers. Thank you to the old subscribers. And as I always say, my mama say, you don't come in nobody's house and not speak. So get ready to get down in them comments. Say hi, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Now, I want to give some personal thank yous to Daphne. And I got to put this on the community page because she was over, I think she was 12, 13 months, the subscriber doing the most commenting. And I gave her a air freshener and a t-shirt. So make sure y'all dropping down in the comments. If y'all get a badge or reward, I know on Facebook they give badges. I'm not sure about YouTube. But let me know, tootytalksense@gmail. Send me a picture. And I also get the information on my end too. But, sometimes I'll just forget. And maybe I'll mail y'all out a little something. You know what I'm saying? So besides Daphne, I want to thank, I'm looking down because I wrote it down. Yeah. Dove's Love, LaDonna, Patricia, Jeanette, China Black, Joseph, Lori, and Fireworks. Thank y'all for coming over, watching the video, and commenting and having a conversation with me. Now, there was only one bad comment, and I'm not gonna say the person's name because I ain't trying to point them out. But I know that there's a new there. I know that there are. I'm getting tongue tied already. That there are new people who's coming in. So I have this. I have said it before, and I'm gonna say it again. This is not the YouTube where we're gonna be all formal and I'm gonna speak correctly every time. Matter of fact, probably no times. I'm gonna be over here code switching. First off, this page ain't even monetized, baby. Okay, this is a YouTube, so we can sit here, we can conversate. I can tell y'all my opinion, y'all can tell me y'all's, and this right here, this accent, black scent, urban scent, country scent is what you're gonna get. I'm not gonna sit here and try to choose all my words correctly and speak eloquently and pronunciate each and every word so you can get a clear understanding of what I'm saying. Because I believe that you can get a clear understanding of what I'm saying when I talk just like this. Okay? Because this is the conversation that we have. We're not in English class. We're not in school. I don't even code switch for work, baby. If you don't understand it, I'll send it to you in the email. Okay, I believe in most of my videos, there's the option for the caption. And so, just a little bit about me. I'm Chicago born and raised, spent the summers up in Mississippi. So you're going to hear that, your goofy ass and clown ass. Like you'll hear that. I say y'all, I don't say you all. Can I? Yes. Will I? Nope. Uh, that's just the channel that this is. We're here to have a good time because the world that's outside, it's already stressful enough. There's already enough of people trying to make you who they want you to be. And I don't think my dialect is hurting anybody because guarantees you my kids are well spoken. Okay, they use proper English, and that's all that matters. Like I'm not here to try to correct your English Now, this channel is gonna be me talking to y'all, y'all talking to me probably busting out in song for no reason because I'm self-diagnosed as ADHD, songs, movies, movie lines. 9 times out of 10, the lyrics is gonna be wrong. The words are gonna be wrong. I'm gonna mispronunciate somebody's name, but we here and hopefully y'all get the gist of it. I'm not a historian. I'm not a political. My degrees, yes, with a S, is not in political science, but I do like to talk politics here because politics affect us all, and everybody has an opinion about it. We talk trending news. We talk everything that's going on. Some YouTube gossip that's going on in the YouTube streets. Some reality TV, and I really just watch baddies, y'all. That's my ratchet look. That's my ratchet guilty pleasure. I'm not gonna lie, since this attack on Iran, because it's not a war, I have not been involved like watching the news and everything since, really, because I'm like, what's that shirt? I seen somebody with a shirt. The black woman was right, or we should have listened. Y'all should have listened to the black woman. And I'm gonna give me one of those. I make t-shirts too. I'm always say every day I'm hustling, every day I'm hustling, every day. But I'm gonna make me one of them shirts that says 92% because I was in 92% when I seen this shit coming. Wait, I got a beat for something. But yeah, let me drink some water. And as you can tell, I also talk fast. I be trying to remind myself to slow it down because from the shy, a lot of us do talk fast like that. But I be trying to remind myself, slow down, slow down. You're talking at 100 miles an hour. But that's how the thoughts come in and that's how it comes out. But I had to take a break from this because to me, I'm like, look at this avoidable tragedy, avoidable unwar that we in. And it's like anytime that there's a war, there's going to be loss of life, of innocence life on either side. So I know how much I can't even get here to record a video without something new popping up. So I said, I think the idea would be to get on here and show y'all the latest and we'll talk about it. Show y'all the latest news clip and then we'll talk about it because the news cycle is going so fast, I can't keep up. So let me try to give a summary of what happened. And then we're going to watch it. Right? So come on, y'all. Let's discuss. That's what the shirt say. Come on, y'all. Let's discuss. Y'all see it? Tootie Talksons. Can you see it? So I believe they said that Donald Trump recorded the video that he sent like late at night. But the video was sent out to the news and made public early in the morning. And the video was about the U.S. have joined with Israel to pretty much attack Iran, and they unalived the leader. Then they were saying that, well, that's recently, but I'm gonna go ahead because I'm talking about the leader. Now we may go back and forth with the order of everything. Give me 1 minute, y'all. I know. It says she's so unprofessional taking a call. Oh no. Is it taking a call during the let me go ahead and put that on. Let me go ahead and put that on vibrate. My bad. Okay. So unalive the leader of Israel. Now, in Israel, there was some celebrations as far as that this leader is known to be a dictator, been in power for years, have done some horrible things, not able to talk about the government. The journalists are afraid to say anything, a fear for repercussions. taking of innocent life. So there is things like that that is going on over in Israel under this leader. So there was, you know, multitudes of people in the streets celebrating. Then I hear that they, I seen an interview today with Donald Trump saying that pretty much when they took out that leader, the people that they had in mind, I'm looking like, how you get the people they had in mind to rule Israel, they pretty much took them out too. That was second and third in line. That their idea for ruling Israel was. I said, wait a minute. Ain't the whole goal is to make it a democracy? So technically, are you making it a democracy if you go take out the ruler in a land that you don't live in, but you install who you want to be the leader instead of the people who live there vote to put in control who they want to be in control? I'm a little confused about this now. Then it came out that the big thing now is everybody's like, okay, well, why did this happen? This was sudden. Why did this happen? Because 7 months ago, when they struck in Iran, they said they obliterated. See, me mispronouncing words. They destroyed all the what you call it warehouses, the companies, the locations where they were making nuclear weapons. They said they took it out, down. Okay, so we like, okay, people watching are like, okay, so if you took that out 7 months ago, you said this strike was because they was close to getting nuclear power. How if you destroyed it all? How? So they was like, you know what? We destroyed it, but they was rebuilding and they was close to getting it. You know, they was days, maybe weeks away. So we had to cut it. We had to shut it down. Then, Pete came out and he said that he's over the Department of War, even though we're not in war. Pete came out and he said that the attack was because we this is I'm trying to explain it. I'm gonna show y'all. Hopefully, it's gonna be in this clip. He said that even though this is supposed to be the party of America first and stay out of them people wars and don't put America in no more wars, and that's what he promised now. He said what had happened was we had to attack them before they attack Israel, because if they attack Israel, then they was gonna attack America embassies and things. Even though Israel and Iran been letting it loose on each other, and they haven't did that up until this point. Now they are. If you see it on the news now they are. Probably, if I would have to guess, I would guess because America went and said, yeah, we just unalived your leader and we dropped these bombs. Now, one of the big thing is when I initially saw it, the first day that the bombs just dropped, it was dropped on a school, an all girls school, elementary school, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know what grade, but it was a girls' school. And one of the videos, of course, is of the devastation and the buildings and people crying. This man go in the pal and just pick up a hand, a little kid hand. And I was just like, I can't watch it, because not only is there's a massive loss of life there, but American lives are going to be lost as well. So I want to say it was maybe it was day 2 or day 3, where there was 5 jets that was American jets that was shot out the sky in Kuwait, and all of the pilots end up ejecting, and there was no loss of life. But yesterday, I believe it's 4 or 5 American soldiers that have lost their life. And I believe it was 2 in the initial attack. So I'm not keeping up with the numbers right now, but I do want to send condolences to the family and condolences to the innocent people who are stuck in the middle and have to deal with the repercussions of this. Because I look at it this way. Yes, I'm America and I want America. Yes, I'm American and I want America to win and to be successful in the ventures. But I'm still a person and I still feel like the cause should be just. And you still feel bad because if someone comes and say we don't like y'all president and we don't like what he's doing and start to drop bombs over here on us, I don't know what YouTube allow and don't, so that's why I'm not saying certain words. But if they start to drop bombs over here on us, baby, I ain't got no money. I can't just like get up and move and like let me like I don't agree with him anyway. So if America's going through this, let me go get up, move, and move my family over to Africa because I don't in order to avoid losing life. No. You like those people who whether they may not even agree with the leadership, but they don't have the ability to just up and leave and up and move. And I know that the US is telling people to this is crazy shit I didn't heard. They're like, yeah, stay in the house, don't come outside because these strikes are going to continue. And I'm like, how does staying in the house help? Like, are you that girls' schools, they was in the school. Ain't like you just doing it like on the streets. Like we're just doing downtown area. Y'all dropping it on. How's that helping them? So there are Americans that's trapped over there who's trying to get back to America. I see it ain't Christy Nome. That's something else we got to talk about. Hopefully we'll get to it. Not tonight, but the Christy Nome hearing that's going on. But Pam Bundy, she did a press conference around 3:00, 4:00, that she was saying, well, because yeah, this shit ain't even funny. But she was saying that if you look, we had said for all Americans to not travel over there on this day. That day we gave a warning. This day we gave a warning. We had told all Americans not to be over in that area. We told all Americans to come home. We had told, so there's thousands of Americans who are trapped over there who do not have a way to get back home. But she is saying now that there is planes that are getting chartered, that there's a number or website that she gave that if you're American, you can call in and they're scheduling Americans to come and for free charter these planes to get them back home. So that's what they saying. Y'all, let's watch this news clip because I'm trying to think what else happened. There's so much, but let's watch the news clip. The Democracy Now! And this is, I believe, yeah, March 4th, because I probably won't drop this till tomorrow. But tonight, March 4th, this is what they have. So let's go through. It's 11 minutes. We're going to go through, and hopefully they'll touch on everything, and we'll talk about it.
Israeli war on Iran has entered its 5th day with the U.S. and Israel new waves of intense bombing targeting Tehran and other areas. The reported death toll in Iran has risen to 1,045. U.S. forces say they've struck more than 2,000 targets since Saturday. Israel's also escalating its attack on Lebanon, where it's ordered mass evacuations. Iran's continuing to retaliate by attacking Israeli and U.S. allies across the Gulf. Targets reportedly struck by Iran include the U.S. Embassy and CIA station in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, the U.S. consulate grounds in Dubai, and a major U.S. airbase in Qatar. Earlier today, Iran's Revolutionary Guard threatened the, quote, complete destruction of the region's military and economic infrastructure, unquote. Meanwhile, an Iranian naval ship has sunk in the Indian Ocean off the southern coast of Sri Lanka after a possible submarine attack. 30 people have survived. 140 others are still missing. Reuters reports sources in Sri Lanka's Navy and Defense Ministry said the vessel had been attacked by a submarine. This comes days after President Trump vowed to annihilate Iran's Navy. Iranian officials are expected to soon pick a new supreme leader to replace Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, who was assassinated Saturday at the start of the U.S.-Israeli attack. Israel's already announced Khamenei's successor will become a, quote, unequivocal target for elimination, unquote. Israel has already bombed the Assembly of Experts building in Qom, where the decision was expected to be made. On Tuesday, President Trump said U.S. and Israeli strikes have already killed off many possible future leaders in Iran.
Well, most of the people we had in mind are dead. So, we had some in mind from that group.
This is what I was telling you about. They're like most of the people we had in mind to put in charge of Iran, like, are dead. What? How you having? Okay, and what?
Group that is dead, and now we have another group. They may be dead also, based on reports. So I guess you have a third wave coming in. Pretty soon we're not going to know anybody.
This comes as CNN is reporting the CIA is now working to funnel arms to Iranian Kurdish militias in an attempt to spark an uprising in Iran. On Tuesday, Trump reportedly spoke to the president of the Democratic Party of Iranian Kurdistan, which is considered a terrorist organization in Iran. Iranian forces have been launching drone strikes on Kurdish forces in northern Iraq. Meanwhile, on Capitol Hill, Democratic senators are expressing alarm after receiving a classified briefing ahead of today's War Powers Resolution vote. This is Connecticut Senator Richard Blumenthal.
I just want to say I am more fearful than ever after this briefing that we may be putting boots on the ground.
Senator Elizabeth Warren posted this message online after the briefing.
I just left a classified briefing on Iran, and here's what I can say. It is so much worse than you thought. You are right to be worried. Trump administration has no plan in Iran. This illegal war is based on lies, and it was launched without any imminent threat to our nation. Donald Trump still hasn't given a single clear reason for this war, and he seems to have no plan for how to end it either.
President Trump's threatening to cut off trade with Spain after the Spanish government refused to allow the U.S. to use naval and air bases in southern Spain to strike Iran.
That's because it's not just here in the U.S. that a lot of people are disagreeing with this. First, Congress is disagreeing because they said you pretty much went to war with a country without Congress approval. And through the Constitution, you need to come to Congress and get approval before you just go to war. But they are saying, the Trump administration is saying, we ain't at war. What war? You gonna believe me or your own lying eyes? So that's another back and forth that they have had, because this administration is crazy, because then he'll come say one thing and then PSF or something, or do an interview and be like, no, we're definitely not gonna have boots on the ground. And then the reporters there be like, well, Trump just posted that, boots on the ground is not completely off the table. So that was one thing that you have one person saying that, no, there won't be boots on the ground. Then you have someone else saying that, well, it's not completely off the table that we may have to put boots on the ground. Because if I'm not mistaken, and initially when this happened, the timeline, Trump came out and said, well, 2 weeks. This will be over and done with in 2 weeks. But a lot of people are saying, like, this is not Venezuela. Like, you messing with somebody who got an army here, who's been fighting Israel for forever, and they're not just going to roll over and let you take out the leader, put in who you want to put in, and pretty much you're going to be like running a company through a board. Like, this is not what's going to happen. Your plan that you have for Gaza is not what's going to happen here. So they said it's not going to be easy like you think it is. So then after the 2 weeks, I believe they came back and said 2 to 3 weeks. And I want to say the latest was like, it could be like 6 weeks up to some months. Like, I want to say that was the latest, but things change so quick. I don't know what the number is right now as I speak. I don't know.
Earlier today, Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez called the U.S.-Israeli war a disaster.
We must learn from history and cannot play Russian roulette with the fate of millions of people. The powers involved in this conflict must immediately cease hostilities and commit to dialogue and diplomacy.
In Pakistan, the U.S. has ordered some consular staff in Karachi and Lahore to leave Pakistan due to safety risks. Large anti-U.S. protests have erupted in recent days. Reuters is reporting U.S. Marines opened fire on Pakistani demonstrators who tried to storm the Karachi consulate. 10 people were killed during that attack on Sunday. Anti-U.S. protests are continuing in Pakistan, which is home to the world's second-largest Shia community after Iran.
We're here today to protest the American-Israeli strike on Iran. In an act of sheer hypocrisy, they bombed a girls' school, killing over 150 innocent children, while claiming to advocate for women's liberation. We are here to condemn this atrocity.
The Military Religious Freedom Foundation says it's been inundated with over 200 calls from members of the U.S. military regarding religious comments made by U.S. commanders about the war in Iran. One combat unit commander reportedly said the war is, quote, part of God's divine plan, and that, quote, President Trump has been anointed by Jesus to light the signal fire in Iran to cause Armageddon and mark his return to Earth. Unquote. Last month, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth invited the controversial Christian nationalist pastor Doug Wilson to lead the Pentagon's prayer service. Wilson has opposed Muslims holding public office and does not believe women should be allowed to vote. The Pentagon.
Y'all put in the comments, let me know, correct me if I'm wrong right here. I believe that he is the one who has the belief that that Christian man who had self-invited, he's the one that has the belief that God is going to return when all the Jewish people return to Israel. And if they don't, then they're going to burn in hell. Like, put in the comments, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's what one of his belief system is. I don't know what type of Christian that is. I don't know. But I believe that that's his belief system. So I'm like, wait, what? Let's continue.
Iran has announced U.S. Special Forces are now in Ecuador to conduct joint military operations with Ecuadorian commandos to reportedly target suspected drug traffickers. The head of U.S. Southern Command and the top commander of U.S. Special Forces in Latin America met with Ecuador's right-wing president, Daniel Noboa, in Quito on Monday. Last year, Noboa proposed a constitutional change to allow the U.S. to operate a military base in Ecuador, but voters rejected the proposal. The deployment of U.S. troops to Ecuador marks a new front in the Trump administration's so-called Operation Southern Spear. Since September, the U.S. has blown up at least 44 boats in the region, killing at least 150 people. Without offering proof, the Trump administration...
But y'all got mad that he didn't receive the Nobel Peace Prize. That's good.
Administrations claimed all the targets were drug traffickers. The 2026 midterm campaign kicked off Tuesday with primaries in Texas, North Carolina, and Arkansas. In Texas, Democratic state legislator and former seminarian James Talarico is projected to have defeated Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett in the closely watched Democratic Senate primary. Talarico spoke to supporters in Austin.
This is a people-powered movement to take on this broken, corrupt political system. This is truly.
And this is just an update. I know that last night was the election in Texas where it was Talarico against Jasmine Crockett. And then what was. I didn't know it's kind of low. Wait, hold on. I got the pause. Okay, y'all. I forget that I had something to do. I had to drop my baby off, so I'm gonna have to come. I'm gonna pause this, and I'm gonna have to come back and talk to y'all about this. But let me get this out really quick. Is that at the last minute, what happened with the voting in Texas? That Texas had went and said that you could only vote at your voting locations. I know here in Illinois, when you early vote, you can early vote within your district anywhere, but the day of the elections, you have to go to your voting station. But in Texas, they had made it where you can go, you can vote anywhere within Texas. But then at the last minute, they went to the Supreme Court and asked them to put in a ruling that you had to go to your locations, and the polls closed at 7:00. So people got there, and the judge had extended the time to 9:00. So it was a mess. The judge had extended the time to 9:00, but then they put those votes aside to say whether they don't know if those votes are going to count. So the people who was in line by 7, those votes went here. When the people who was in line by 9, those votes went there. So when they go to court, they can know whether they include those votes or not. But anyway, the last I just checked, that Jasmine Crockett did congratulate Talarico and said she will work with any Democrats to help get them elected because they need a Democrat in that seat. So I'll be back in a little bit. Okay, y'all. I am back. Wait, let me put this mic back on. My bad, y'all. And this is what we do at this channel. This is our kitchen talk, front porch talk. Let's get back to it. That is me over scheduling, right? Because I've been so busy that once I got the message that one of my daughter's classes canceled for tonight, I'm like, okay, good. I'm good to go. I can take my time, sit here, talk for a while. Baby, I forget she got 2 classes for today. Only one was canceled. So she like, what are you doing? Why are you still recording? I'm like, wait, what? What do you mean we late? I had to run up out of here. Okay. But I believe I finished with Talarico. They're saying that Jasmine conceded to him, congratulated him, and she said she will be willing to help to work with him to get him elected. So let's continue on with this news article.
A campaign of, by, and for the people.
Texas Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett decried voting disruptions in Dallas County, where hundreds of voters are reportedly turned away from polls.
I can tell you now that people have been disenfranchised. The reason that we knew that there were problems is because we were receiving the phone calls and the emails. The polls were supposed to stay open until 9, according to a court order. The Supreme Court, just a few minutes ago, just said, shut it down.
In the Republican Texas Senate primary, Senator John Cornyn and State Attorney General Ken Paxton are heading for a runoff on May 26. Their race is already the most expensive Senate primary in history.
Jeez.
Meanwhile, Republican incumbent Congressmember Dan Crenshaw lost his primary to Texas State Representative Steve Toth. Another Republican incumbent congressman, Tony Gonzalez, has been forced into a runoff. Reports recently emerged that he had an affair with a staffer who later took her own life. In North Carolina, the matchup to replace retiring Republican Senator Thom Tillis is now set. Former Democratic Governor Roy Cooper will face off against Michael Whatley, a former Trump Republican National Committee chairman. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem testified on Capitol Hill Tuesday, grilled about the killings by federal agents of Renee Good and Alex Pretty in Minneapolis, but she refused to apologize for linking them to domestic terrorism. She was questioned by Senator Dick Durbin of Illinois.
Can you explain why you decided to brand these victims that we all saw on video who were out protesting the activities of your agency and were killed as a result of it? How did you think that calling them domestic terrorists at that scene was somehow going to calm the situation?
You know, Senator, we are working in those situations where there's a tragic loss of life and that there is something that our agents are involved in, that we continue to deliver information.
Senator Amy Klobuchar questioned Noem about armed masked agents in St. Paul, Minnesota, battering down the door of a home of a U.S. citizen from Laos, even though the agents did not have a warrant.
Do you agree that it is unacceptable for your agents to ram into someone's door and drag someone out in their underwear in below zero temperatures when they have the wrong guy?
Our officers conduct targeted operations and utilize the law processes that are given to them and the tools.
That you think that's wrong.
Okay, and I forgot to say this in the previous story with the strike against Iran that hit the school of the girls' school. What happened was they was using old maps, so that the building used to be used for something else, but now it was a girls' school, so they didn't even investigate enough to make sure that the maps was updated. They were using old maps, and that's how that girls' school ended up getting hit. And them saying this made me think about that. Yeah.
They needed to identify that individual, and
they couldn't identify him by looking at his identification. Instead, they had to drag him out, throw him in a car, and drive him around for an hour.
In Arizona, a Haitian asylum seeker has died in ICE custody after being held for 4 months at the Florence Correctional Center.
So the Kristi Noem, that was part one. Part two continued today. And I know there was a story about ICE went to a courthouse. The senator who was over this state, and I can't tell y'all what state it is right now offhand, but he was over the state, and what had happened was that ICE went into the courthouse and they were looking for some guy who was 30-something years old. There was a teenager, a high schooler, who interned there. And they tried to get that teenager for the 30-some-year-old. And so the judge took the teenager to try to protect the teenager and was going to, take the teenager home. And so the judge got in the car that was reserved for the judge. It said reserved parking for the judge. Got in the car and put the teenager in the car with him to take the teenager home. ICE came over there, threatened to bust out the windows. It was, I guess, a scary thing. I don't know if they bust out the window or not, but they confronted her about that situation. If you guys was to communicate with some of the people, the law enforcement there, that simple things like this could be avoided. So that was one thing. Let me go and show y'all the. Do y'all want to finish this? There's a minute left that I'll finish.
One local official said the man, Emmanuel Damas, had died after not getting timely medical care for an infected tooth. Wow. He's at least the 10th prisoner.
Well, infected tooth, what year is this? That we're people from an affected tooth? This is
to die in ICE custody so far this year. And in Georgia, the father of an accused school shooter has been convicted of second-degree murder for giving his teenage son an AR-15-style rifle as a Christmas gift. Colin Gray's son, who was 14 at the time, is accused of using the gun to kill 2 students and 2 teachers at a high school in Winder, Georgia in 2024. Prosecutors accuse the father of ignoring his son's emotional problems, including his obsession with school shooters. And those are some of the headlines.
And that's a story. I don't have my pen. I need to write that one down. That's a story that we need to talk about, because also here in Chicago, they just tried to pass a law, because in Chicago, they've been doing these. It's like the hundreds of teenagers are gathered at one spot, and they have been reckless damaging property and things of that nature. But they are trying to charge the parents with the crimes as if the parents did it. And like they said, this parent was the first parent who ever been charged. I want to say he got charged with murder because of him giving the son the gun. And I said, I want to go over that story, because I wouldn't say as a parent, I do the best that I can for my kid. And I teach them here in the house, not saying what I teach them is going to be necessarily what they display on the streets, because, me as a teenager, my mom teach me none of that bullshit I'm doing. But in this situation, with this school unaliving, when he went and unalived the people in the school, there was just various signs, like, it was irresponsible to give this boy, who seems like he was in a mental breakdown, or at least trying to reach out for help. He had get called in the office and everything, like he was having troubles. And to reward him, you get him an early Christmas present for a firearm. And then not only that, I want to say the day before, a couple of days before, the mama took him to the firearm range. Like, what was you thinking? And now other parents have lost their life because of a present you gave your child. They no longer have their child. So in an obvious situation where you are giving a mentally unstable teenager a firearm, yeah, I believe there should be some repercussions for that, some consequences, some legal consequences, and not financial, that you need to go to jail, in my opinion. But hopefully I'll write that down, I remember, so we can actually go over that whole case. I want to talk about now the soldiers who lost their life. There was 4 U.S. soldiers who have lost their lives, and I want to talk about that. We'll just show you the news article and send condolences to their family. Hopefully this would play, because right now at my it is raining here. But we gonna be up to like 61, 65.
Service members died following and in support of Operation Epic Fury. We're learning new information about the 6 individuals, or 4 of these 6, that paid the ultimate sacrifice, as 6 U.S. service members died following and in support of Operation Epic Fury. We're learning their identities tonight, and I want to put up some of these here on Live Now from Fox as we continue on, including Captain Cody Cork of Lakeland, Florida. Also, we are following First Class Captain of Sergeant First Class Nicole Moore of White Bear Lake, Minnesota. Also a Sergeant First Class there, Noah Tejans of Bellevue, Nebraska, and Sergeant Declan Cody of Des Moines, Iowa. They were deployed out of Iowa, as these now 4 of the 6 individuals identified following that incident in Kuwait. And you can just see here again, a 35, 42, 39, and 20-year-old losing their lives. And on social media, Major General saying to the families and teammates of those in the Cactus Nation soldiers, you have my deepest sympathy and respect. Our nation is kept safe by folks like these brave men and women who put it all on the line every single day. They represent the heart of America. We will remember their names, their service, and their sacrifice.
And then
These are not normal times, and the same old politics.
I want to show y'all too that they did an interview. I want to say Cody, who's the youngest. I believe he was 20 years old. They did an interview with his sister, and that was just heartbreaking. His sister, and her saying how she's gonna miss him. Then I seen a press conference of Donald Trump, and when he was saying what was going on in Iran, I believe that was him giving an update. But he stopped and talked about the drapes while he was saying that, I don't know who he gave more time to, the drapes or the fallen soldiers. Because I said, what in the all time is this going on here? But I want to show y'all it's only 3 minutes of it's gone now. But that's the one I seen on the news this morning when I learned of the fallen soldiers. They had gave an interview of his sister. I just seen it. Maybe if I go back, it'll come up because it was over in these related videos right here.
I haven't had a lot of jobs, but I've had jobs in the civilian world, and I've been over here for 6 months, and I work 12+ hour days. I work 6 to 7 days a week, and he goes, I love it. When he could have said, well, I'm doing ROTC, I'm going to continue to do that, I want to commission as an officer, and he would have been allowed to stay. That was my understanding, to continue his education at Drake and just go through the ROTC route. He kind of planned it out, but he was adamant, like, I'm going to go with my unit.
He's 20. He was going to be 21 in May, in 2 months.
Was that's a big birthday?
Yeah.
You're going to take him out for drinks?
Well, he was actually still supposed to be in Kuwait, and you can't drink in Kuwait. And so before he had left, we were like teasing him about it because we were like, oh, you're gonna be 21 and you don't get to go out. And he didn't even care. But yeah, I don't know. We were just so excited.
I would say Sunday. I'm sure everybody started waking up that morning, and you heard at the time that 4 people had been killed and many injured. And I think we talked with our son in Italy at the time, and said he had talked to Declan kind of based off of timing, and what we know so far. We don't know specifics, but we're just making an assumption based off of timing that it was shortly after that phone call that he had gotten off with his brother, that this is when that happened and his operations center got hit.
I still don't fully think it's real, and I didn't think it was real when they told us, because I just remember all of our conversations about what he was going to do when he came back, and so I'll just be sitting and thinking about it, and then it's really hard, and I didn't have like the same phone call like this weekend that my dad and like my brother did, and so I just really wish I got to tell him I love him one more time, because he was just so amazing, and he always in front of everybody just was like really strong. He never let his emotions really show, but I don't know. I can't help but think just he was my little brother, and he was probably really scared even if he didn't want people to know. And so I just wish he got to know one more time that we all loved him, because he was so amazing and kind. And like my dad said, like he didn't like speak like that much, but like every little thing he did was just so, I know I'm just saying he was kind, but I don't know. He was just like the best little brother you could have.
And that was the youngest victim, but condolences to all the families out there. My anxiety and everything is like through the roof. My family on my father's side is very heavily involved in the military, but no one that I know like that. My sister retired from the Navy, so she's not there. My daughter, I already been stressed because she's going over to Japan. So, and she's going to visit someone in the Air Force, the United States Air Force. So she's going there, and I'm just like, oh, I'm so nervous. I was nervous. I didn't want anybody on the airplane right now until, honestly, till Trump got in office. I said, I'm not getting on the airplane until he get off. All them firings that y'all did in the way them airplanes was crashing into each other and falling out the sky. I'm not getting it till y'all get this shit in order. But now with this, I said Japan is not where all the fighting is at, but I am still terrified. Yeah, and I am still nervous, and just for everybody who have to be here, because when they do sign up for the service, whether you agree with your leader or not, once that we're at this unwar win, that you're going to be involved in that conflict, and you have to perform your jobs and your duties. And it's dangerous. Like, it's dangerous. You don't have control being in the military. A lot of them don't have control of where they're sent and where they're at, and things of that nature. Like, they're doing their best to fulfill their job, fulfill their duty, and go out and fight for this country. So, just condolences to everybody who have lost anyone, and I am praying that peace for everyone, peace over in the Middle East. Like, I know we've been saying that for decades. And I'm like, this. And that's why I literally has been watching, like, anything else, gossip, anything else I've been watching, because I'm like, this is stressful, and I'm not even in the military. So I am sending good vibes, send prayers up, send good vibes, light some sage, whatever you do to keep people safe. Now let's go into this. I believe this will be the last thing that we talked about with this, because I didn't show this. Let me add it to the screen. This is the Pentagon leader whole brief on Iran war.
Along with Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, Dan Kane, giving an update on the ongoing war with Iran. Honestly,
and Iran,
Pete Hegseth with a rather childish litany of accomplishments about a very serious issue, war with Iran. Talking about how American forces would deliver death and destruction all day long to Iran. He got into some of the details. But again, a lot of rundown. And serious assessment of the situation from the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, Dan Kane, who started off where most would, which is expressing gratitude and grief over the fallen service members who have died so far. 4 days and 103 hours into this campaign. He did list off the accomplishments so far, saying that they have eliminated Iran's ballistic missile systems. They're about also how the Gulf states, United Arab Emirates and Qatar, have been helping push back against Iran's retaliation. What questions were you left with on this, and any indications of where this goes next from what we heard?
I had the same questions about no real explanation about why this had to happen now, as you. He brought up something that we've actually done some reporting on. It's basically claims that Iran was actively pursuing a nuclear weapon, and this is something Steve Witkoff talked about in a Fox News interview a couple nights ago. And we contacted people with knowledge of the negotiations. Witkoff claimed that the Iranians bragged that they had enough enriched uranium for 11 nuclear bombs. It was a Sean Hannity interview. People who were present during the negotiations said that never happened, that the Iranians never made that statement. And in fact, they said we have enriched uranium because we started enriching uranium again after President Trump pulled out of the nuclear deal that President Obama negotiated. So it's a continuation of the administration struggling to explain why they had to do this now. And in terms of the objectives, I was struck like you. It's just very unusual. We talked about exquisite, standoff munitions. At one point, he compared it to a football game. And at the end, he was sort of talking about, pushing the throttle up. Waging war is one of the most serious things the American government can do. 6 Americans have lost their lives already. And so he seems enamored with the ability of air power alone and these bombs to break the will of Iranian forces. And maybe they will. And this is a terrible regime, and maybe they will be toppled. But I'm still concerned about the strategy the administration has here, and I still think that the objective is unclear.
All right, let's go live to Israel now. And MS Now international reporter Ines de la Cuetara. Ines, you heard the defense secretary say Iran's missile attacks have decreased since the start of the war. Is that the sense on the ground there?
Have you suffered abuse at Hartgrove Hospital in Chicago? You may qualify.
Yeah, Mika, they said that Iran's ballistic missile capabilities are now down 86%, that they've established localized air superiority. But here in Israel, sirens have been continuing to go off throughout the day. Today, we had at least 3 sirens going off. At one point, there was incoming from both Iran and Hezbollah at the same time. No casualties reported there. But the Israelis also striking Iran today and saying that they're going to continue taking out any successor to Iran's supreme leader. This just after they took out the council that was set to elect Iran's supreme leader.
So I'm like, wait, you took out the leader, you took out the council that was supposed to elect the new leader. Are we just gonna take out people until we get the person up in there that we want? I don't know how. I don't know how this is working.
Yesterday, the death toll continuing to go up across the region. In Iran, we know of over 1,000 people who have now been killed. That's according to Iranian state media. And like you guys mentioned, the U.S. military also identifying some of these service members, American service members who have been killed. They are Captain Cody A. Korg, Sergeant First Class Noah Tejans, Sergeant First Class Nicole Amor, Sergeant Declan Cody. U.S. military installations
They
obviously
are
have been
all
targeted.
young. Look at the ages: 20, 35, 39. And 42, all young.
By Iran, but Iran also broadening its attacks and targeting across the region energy facilities, hotels, residential buildings, and air.
I would say one more thing here that I previously said. I don't know if it was before Trump got elected, because it was always thought. I don't know who's surprised about this war, this unwar that we're in, because before he got elected, everybody was saying that, Project 2026 says that they are trying to install somebody to pretty much be a dictator, that there will be no more elections after this election if he get elected. And he had said in various interviews about, well, if we're in war, then I do have the power to not have an election. So it seems like he was just going up to countries like Venezuela, like, I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. I'm like daring somebody to go to war with us so we can get in war so he can take away the election. That's how I felt. Now, I don't have no evidence of this. Just, 1 + 1 = 2. So this is really it's not a surprise, but it's still not something that I don't think a majority of America does not want to see. especially coming from the party who said they're they're anti-war. They want America, put America first. And because somebody went over there, because you didn't let this other leader then tricked you into fighting his battles. Now we're losing Americans, we're losing soldiers. Besides, not even just the ones, that ICE is taking out. We're losing soldiers over up in another land because we had to take them out before they struck Israel, or before Israel. No, what was the saying? They had to take them out because Israel, if Israel hit them, hit Iran, they was going to hit us. So we had to strike, preemptive defensive strike. And if you heard them say about the Israel with the nuclear powers, Obama had came in, set up a deal that was working. That Israel was, didn't have the nuclear, was not creating more nuclear weapons. Trump came in and was like, everything that Obama did, I need to get rid of it because, I can't have this black man. Anything, somebody black touch or created, tear it down. So he came and got rid of it for whatever reasons he say. And so then they're back creating nuclear power because you got rid of the deal that had them not creating that. So I want to show y'all this one. I did say that was going to be the last one. But I want to show y'all this of Trump saying that Obama was going to start a war. I showed y'all the videos before where everybody's like, where's this coming from? Why are we doing this? So, of course, people like, it's because it's a distract from them Epstein's file. I forgot to start off this video with my song. Where them files at? Where them files at? Where them files at? Whoa, whoa, whoa. We want them files right now. I start that off when, if I do the Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton interview. Well, if we review their testimony. It's not really an interview, just to review their testimony. Because I'm like, at the same time now, first I'm like, why y'all bringing Hillary? When Hillary wasn't involved. I understand bring Bill. Freaky Bill, if you getting head at work, ain't no telling what Bill has did. Bring Bill. But Hillary, but if we gonna give, well, me personally, if I give Nicki Minaj that same smoke for having the husband that she didn't pick, well, she picked him after he had the charges. They was married, and then he got the charge. I don't know, but we still gonna have to hold your foot to the fire. At least ask you some questions to see what you know, what you don't know. And I like the way she answered most of her questions. There was only one part that she got caught up in, that the lady was like, "Well, you talking about Trump got found liable of the R word and had to pay this much, and Bill got found liable of the R word, had to pay this much." Hillary was like, "Baby, that's between you and Bill. He'll be here tomorrow. Ask Bill." I was like, "Oh, okay." Well, that's why
Weijia Zhang brings us more now on what President Trump is saying about this war. Weijia, good morning. You said yesterday the key question was why, and we're getting some insight into that now.
Our president will start a war with Iran because he has absolutely no ability to negotiate. He's weak.
This is a video from 2011 where he's talking about Obama was going to start a war with Iran and why.
And he's in effect.
I believe that we will end up in a.
This is 2012 where he's talking about Obama's going to start a war with Iran and why.
War with Iran because I think Obama views that as politically good for him. But he's losing in swing states. I have said for a year and a half that in the end, we'll end up with somewhere before the election, we will end up in a form of war with Iran. And I think he's doing it for political
In 2012, he tweeted, now that Obama's poll numbers are in a tailspin, watch for him to launch a strike in Libya or Iran. He is desperate.
Good morning, Arrow. Good morning to everybody. You're right. President Trump is really trying to clarify that question that has loomed large, which is what is he trying to accomplish with this bombing campaign? Meanwhile, the administration says the hardest hits have yet to come and that the next phase will be even more punishing for Iran.
The United States military continues to carry out large-scale combat operations in Iran to eliminate the grave threats posed to America.
At his first public event since the U.S. and Israel began bombarding Iran on Saturday, President Trump said he will wage war until Iran's missile capabilities, nuclear ambitions, and navy are all destroyed.
We've knocked out already 10 ships.
Trump justified the attack's timing, citing Iran's ballistic missile capability.
This posed a very clear, colossal threat.
And to be clear, as far as I have read, that their missile capability, the farthest it was able to go was Europe. There was no way it could reach here in America. And again, the campaign was America first. We're not going to be involved in these wars in other countries. So,
threat to America and our forces stationed overseas.
There was no imminent threat to the United States of America. There was a threat to Israel.
Weijia Zhang brings us more now on what President Trump.
And I said, this reminds me of, it's like when I was younger, right? Y'all know I come from a big family, or the new people. I come from a big family. I have 7 sisters. Yes, my mama have all girls. I have all girls. So if you come from if people, people back here, they all knew that you had a big family. So what happened was, one of my friends got to it with a girl who's a big girl, and back then I probably was like a little fiery, like it didn't, you want to fight, some people may have came and got me. Not no more. I know right now I will get my butt whooped because I'm not angry like that anymore. Like the anger that I had back then, that's how you was able to whoop people like that. Them fighters be angry. But anyway, and so what you'll do is you'll go and be like, hey, what you call had said this about you. That person ain't said nothing about you. But the big bully, you scared of the big bully, or you done fought the big person before and you know you ain't winning. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna get somebody who a fighter and got all these people around them that that's gonna come to their defense, that don't nobody really mess with their family because it's too many of them type thing. And out west, it was the Chapmans. The Chapmans outnumbered us. Don't nobody really mess with the Chapmans because they fighting everybody. And it's 200 of them. 50-11 Chapmans out there. One of them probably watching right now. Hey. So it feels like that Israel was just like, and somebody reported this. I don't have this one put up, and I'm not going to pull up no more. We is about to get out of here. But Israel did report. Let me remove this. Not Israel. Someone did report that what had happened was Trump went into a meeting with the leader of Israel and told Trump that we are getting reports that Iran planned on striking we're about to strike Iran, and in retaliation they are going to strike the embassies, the U.S. embassies, and they are going to come after you guys because of what we did. And so Trump like, fuck, they ain't. I said, no, you didn't let that man bamboozle you, because they've been fighting for how long and they hadn't came out the U.S. yet. But that was a report that I seen. I don't know how true it is. Nothing has been confirmed whether that happened or not. But that is where we at right now, y'all. I believe that is all I have to show y'all. Drop down in the comments. Let me know what y'all want to do next. Do y'all want to do the Bill and Hillary? Do y'all still care about what they said? Because if we do it, it'll be us, if I got to suffer through them 4 hours, y'all gonna suffer through those 4 hours with me. Because I did begin to watch it and took down notes. And I was only like an hour in, and I'm like, oh my God. Ugh. Ugh. Like, how many more hours I got to go? I'm not doing this twice. Like, I am not. Because then if I just read y'all my notes, some people gonna be like, she ain't saying like that or what. No, y'all gonna have to suffer through it with me. I haven't even looked at bills yet because we enter into an unwar. So I haven't even had the chance to look at that yet, let alone Christy Nome and her ass over there doing all that she doing, the Senate hearing, being a yeah. Well, now I did watch this part. I keep saying I'm gonna get out of here and I keep talking. I did watch this part that she um made it a thing where when the states need a certain amount of money from FEMA, that they have to get her personal approval. And the states are complaining that, like, before, you want to talk about what happened under Biden, we didn't have to do this under Biden. We got our money, but now we are sitting here. We don't have our money. We don't have the things that we need in order to do what we need. But you just then brought a private jet, and she like to do photo shoots and shit. So they didn't put the pictures that has and posted in this private jet with this bedroom and everything. And she was like, but it's gonna be redesigned and used as a plane to deport people. They like, no, you spent this amount, and they over there, well, where's our money? It's my money and I want it now. If you're from Chicago, you know what commercial that is. But I'm finna get out of here. I know I said thank you to everybody earlier, but I didn't give y'all the scene. So thank y'all for tuning in. Thank you to my subscribers. Like I said, be in these comments. Like the video first off. Okay? Be in these comments, because you don't like my mama say, you don't go in nobody's house and not speak. So say hi to me, say hi to the people that's in the comments. Let's talk to get to know one another. Thank you for subscribing. Let me give you my thank you clip.
Thank you. You love me. You really love me.
Okay, I am about to get out of here. Follow me on all social media. Tootie Talk Sense. It's no spaces. It's a run on because I talk fast and that's the way I talk. So that's the way I wrote it. Okay. Y'all stay safe out there. Hopefully we all gonna stay safe. Okay. And I'll be back on here and talk about what I can when I can. Okay. Because it's going at 100 miles an hour. I can't even tell you what I'm talking about next, because anytime I try to plan it, something else come up that I was like, okay, I need to talk about that. But drop in the comments. I will take suggestions, and I'll try to, carve a space out to talk about that. You want to talk about Bill? You want to talk about Hillary? You want to talk about Christy? No. You want to talk about? I've been hearing a lot about that DL whisper against T.S. Madison. Now Tasha Cater into the chat. Also, the American Next Top Model. It's only 3 episodes, so y'all watch them 3 episodes if y'all want to talk about it, so y'all can be in here talking about it with me. But the Funky Dineva was talking about the American Model. He ended up talking American Next Top Model. He ended up talking about the girl where Tyra was like, we were rooting for you. We always rooting for you. Funky Dineva had went to school with her and told a story about, something that happened. So she came at Funky Dineva. So that's another one that we can touch on. We never did talk about Gorilla Sister, because this stuff started happening, and it's so much. It's so much. I have to woosah. If you wanna be somebody, if you wanna go somewhere, you better wake up and pay attention. Y'all, and so we got to pay attention to what's going on. And I know I am trying to divert and just to calm it down. I've been diverting my attention, but we're going to talk about politics, and we could talk about the mess. We could talk about the baddies too, because that whole Lex and Summer thing is messy. Okay. Like the video, y'all. I will talk to y'all next time. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel. Hit all so you can see when I'm dropping these videos and when I'm going live. I want to say 2. That may be my new time I'm aiming for. Y'all put in the comments what y'all think. But 2 so far have worked out, but that wouldn't be live. Those would be my pre-recordings. And I'm in the comments. Y'all can see from last time. Dove, Love, LaDonna, Patricia, Jeanette, China Black, Joseph, Lori, Fireworks. We was all in them comments talking. So y'all can see from last time that I be in them comments when it's a pre-recorded one. So I still have like the interaction and engagement with you guys. My voice is getting dry. I've been talking too much. This is just water. It ain't liquor. It ain't liquor today. So hit that hit all so you can see when I'm dropping a video. If you're watching on Facebook, make sure you continue to follow so you can. I try to put up announcements on Facebook too before I drop a video, but I am aiming to have my videos at 2:00 on maybe during the weekday when I drop it through the weekday. And my lives, I haven't figured that one out yet. Drop down in the comments what's the most convenient time so y'all can do lives, because the engagement is picking up. There are more viewers where I can start dropping the link again, where you can start, you guys can click on and talk with some sense. With some sense, okay? Keep it respectful because God ain't finished with me yet. Enjoy the rest of y'all day, okay?